start moving into the room where it's going to happen. And we have the amazing Karen Novi in the house this morning. Yes. Woohoo.
It's good to be
I
back.
know it. I know it.
It's good to be back. I understand the story of the prodigal child now.
Oh my goodness.
It's fun. It's good to be back.
And here we are. I wore my stars today. I don't have any stripes. Do you have any stripes? No, you have flowers. But anyway.
I love stars, though.
I'm still celebrating our country's 250th anniversary or birthday. Anyway, we're going to say thank you because we get to live in this incredible country, on this incredible planet, in this incredible universe. So if you're up to it, how about we all stand up and start saying thank you? Yeah.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. It's a wonderful, wonderful, this wonderful day. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful. We're taking it up. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This joyful, this joyful, this joyful day. This joyful, this joyful, this joyful day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you all for being here. You may be seated. My name is Chris Eagle. Reverend Victoria is still enjoying her vacation, and to my left is the wonderful Nathan Jorgensen. And if you haven't noticed, I am counterbalancing his attire. Remember? Something like that. But if we have a dance-off, I think I'll win because he's going to sweat his butt off. But anyways, it is wonderful for you, all of you to be here. All y'all. All y'all. Yes. So, are you ready? Okay. You were expecting more, huh? All right. So if you want to settle in and just feel yourself in this space, in this place, and feel your breath. And as we get to our invocation, which will show up on our screen soon, really feeling into our essence of who we are. So let's say this together. Together, there's only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. Infinite divine love, omnipresent. Yes, we got you. So, with that infinite divine love omnipresent, we'll have Nathan light our divine light and just let that infinite divine love seep in and feel that. And those of you on the live stream, thank you for joining us, for being part of this. If you want to put your name in the chat, that would be wonderful. And I think with that, we'll get on to the meditation.
Surrender.
So as we settle into that, if there's anything on your laps, you can put that aside and just feel fully supported. And on this day after America's birthday, or the United States independence, perhaps you're feeling some waves of celebration, perhaps you're feeling other feelings. But in that Declaration of Independence, there's a phrase that says, all are created equal. And yes, it's had different variations and whatnot. But I am going to ask you, as you close your eyes or gaze softly down, to find that independence from the thoughts that may seem like they're running you, or the feelings that might seem like they're overrunning you. And instead, I'm asking you to dive into that essence that is you, truly, uniquely you. And there may be lights, there may be celebrations, there may be all kinds of things, but for this moment right now, all you have to do is breathe. And just feel how that wonderful affirmation that runs nonstop on your behalf continues and flows. Like a Mobius strip, it really has no beginning or end. It just continues. It just continues on. As do you. And let this moment expand. Maybe you're realizing that maybe your shoulders feel a little tight. Just ask them to expand. And you can let your breath help with that. So perhaps as you inhale, maybe it pushes them out a little bit. Maybe at the top of the breath, it holds them in whatever they need for balance. Or the exhale releases whatever needs to happen. And the bottom of the breath might invite more in. But it is really you that you are breathing. If there are thoughts that are coming up, they too want this breath. So give them that breath. You don't have to give them anything else other than some acknowledgement. They too are a part of you, but they are not only you. Feel all of that immersed, perhaps swimming inside of you. And let that expand beyond your body. Allow it to be fully present in the size and shape that it wants to be. You might be feeling beyond your physical body. And that's good. It is good to feel the essence that is you. That certainly inhabits your body, but is more than your body. It is more than your thoughts. It is more than your feelings. It is all that and more. Allow yourself to drink in whatever you need in this moment, in its essence. You might think of it as love. You might think of it as light. It doesn't really matter. But your system, you know what you need. And this is the moment to drink deeply from the well. And just allow yourself that permission, that freedom to do that in the next couple of moments in the quiet. spacious place. There may be thoughts that are bubbling up of people, places, situations that may not feel yet imbued in the same essence that you are experiencing right now. If it moves you, please call their names softly aloud, inviting them in, inviting them deep. Allowing all of those and these in this prayer request box to feel their presence being called in to what fully surrounds them at all times, and allowing them to discover the pathway in, for the prayers to be not only answered, but to be lived, to be brought to fruition. We hold these and all of those, spoken and unspoken, in this space, that they too get to experience this. So feel that happening in your own experience. How they may soften, they may brighten, they may change in a way that lets you know that things have shifted. And allow that essence to trickle fully into your body, bringing perhaps your body to this experience versus you bringing it back to your body. You choose. But allow them to coalesce. Allow them to become one. And what may help in doing that is perhaps wiggling fingers and toes, stretching a little, feeling that essence as your body. And when you are ready, if you want, slowly open your eyes. Take a deep breath to really enliven your body. And if you're willing, find at least 2 other divine beings in the room to share eyes with. And you have plenty of options in this room, I assure you that. All right. Thank you. So I'm going to have our lovely Karen Novi. I'll just tell you a joke while we get the musicians up here. All right. Thank you, Karen.
Okay. I was elsewhere. I'm back online. Okay. Well, good to see y'all and to sing with you, sing for you. I've always known you. There's been a tug at my heart for as long as I remember, and now here you are. It didn't take much, just stayed the course, patient and loving. What a beautiful force. And the warmth that I feel from head to toe is like a sunshine on a summer's day. Without a glimmer of doubt, this love that I know feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. Without a glimmer of doubt, feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. And you are here. You are here, finally here. I can see you've been waiting. I guess I was too, though I didn't know it till I came upon you. Guided by love, the stars and the truth, I've opened my heart and dedicated to you. 'Cause the warmth that I feel from head to toe, it's like the sunshine on a summer's day. Without a glimmer of doubt, this love that I know feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. Without a glimmer of doubt, this love that I know just feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. You are here. You are here, finally here. All along, I guess I knew there never was a question of you. Maybe when or where or how, but that's all been answered now. Without a glimmer of doubt, this love that I know feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. Without a glimmer of doubt, this love that I know just feels like the memory of a true love. Without a glimmer of doubt, this love that I know feels like the memory of a true friend. Without a glimmer of doubt, this love that I know, it feels like the memory of a true love. And you are here. You are here. You are here. Finally here.
Thank you for that, Karen. That was beautiful. That was deep, and that felt true to me. I think it sets a really good tone. So thank you for bringing that to us. Now let me get my notes here. I thought you'd be more surprised, but you're just laughing, so I guess you already get it, huh? And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God has led thee these 40 years. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates and oil and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it. And thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to prosper. Now, again, Nathan, reading the Bible at Unity Center of Peace, was probably not on your bingo card. But I'm also not mocking these words. I'm going to come back to them. But I wanted to start with them because if you have any religious experience whatsoever, you've probably heard the words remember. It's in many books. It's often used. And I want to pause for just a moment before talking more about remembering and memory. A reflection on my own life is I found that as I grow, as I learn, as I get more, this culture that we live in is always telling me to get more. It's not about scarcity, it's just about you can have more. And whatever you have is always going to be scarce because you can have more. The fact that you can have more means that you don't have enough. And part of this rings true to me, a land where thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. And as much as I can look, I could easily find many people who prosper way more than I do. And that's often the goal. You're always trying to get somewhere. But when I truly reflect, I've never had to worry about that. I don't have to ask that question about if my kids are going to be able to eat, if they're going to be safe. And so, taking the whole God has blessed us more than others out of the picture, there is still immense gratitude for that. And I wanted to mention that because I'd like to mention a current fundraiser that's going on for the people of Venezuela who've been impacted by horrible earthquakes and have very little support from their own government. And so this, if you feel it in your heart and have the ability, I believe this link was also in our newsletter, so you could find it later if you like. But there are people who, tens of thousands of people with everything taken away, and so many people impacted by this. So I wanted to mention that we do live in a place where many of us eat bread without scarceness and lack nothing. So I'm going to take these biblical words and put them aside for a minute, and I may come back to them again, but I want to talk about memory. When we hear that, remember, we might write something down, we might sit and try to remember something. When it's said here, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of a command. Do this. I'm telling you to do this. So you're going to do this, you're going to choose to do that, and sometimes you just can't. And then there's other times where memories just pop right into your head. Unwilling, no choice, nothing, just something in the environment. I remember when I was younger, with my family, we used to play hide and go seek in the dark in the house at night. And it was so fun, but it was also scary because there was this unfinished basement that was just a scary place. And there's all these nooks and crannies that you can hide, and the only light that would be on was this big candle, like this big, that had 3 wicks in it, that would be on the dining room table, and it'd be lit, and that was it. Everything else is dark. And I still know the scent of that candle. And I can't name it, but every once in a while, I'll walk by something. Even recently, I was walking, and I just smelled it, and I was like, oh, that's it. That's that. I don't know what this smell is, but that's the candle. And suddenly, I feel like I'm back in this home that I haven't been in many years. And neuroscience has shown that scent is processed in the same brain as memories, and so it's very often linked to that. And another thing that is very frequently linked to memory is music. So you may hear a song, and suddenly you're back on a road trip, you're back at maybe a very sad time of life that you want to change the station because it brings up feelings. And again, so in this case, remembering is completely unbidden by us. It is not a choice. It just comes to us. So remembering. Sometimes we can't, even when we want to. And sometimes we do, even when we don't. So I ask myself, as I had a journey in religion, as I have a journey in spirituality, and as I've had a journey in doing research in psychology, I see these links of where meaning occurs and how things tie together, and I don't actually know if it makes sense to anybody but myself, but I want to share some of those thoughts about how memory might tie into our spiritual experience. So, something that we learn in developmental psychology, which is how we grow and change and learn and all of this from birth, even before birth now. There's studies on prenatal development all the way through our lives. How does this happen? So how does memory develop? And there are some really interesting things about how children develop memories. And one thing I learned that was very useful when working with children is that children remember something better when you repeat it as a story later. And if you have pictures or some sort of image to go along with that. So you can say, this was us doing this, or this is your grandparents, these are the people, right? And you show them pictures, you can tell them a story about it. They're more likely to remember people, remember events. Sometimes they even remember the story, even if they were too young to actually remember the event. It's, I know this picture, I know this story. This happened to me when I was 2 years old, and we did this. Even though I have no concept of what actually happened, I remember the story. So this can help to build a sense of continuity in children, to know that, yes, these things happened, and now you're here. And there are interesting things that I'm sort of built my own theory about. Around the time of puberty, which puberty begins usually around age 9, much before there's visible changes in body and voice and things like that. There's a lot going on. And one thing that hasn't really been studied, but I really see it, is something about memory. There's something about age 8 to 10, where children suddenly realize that they are not the same as they used to be. If you're ever in an elementary school, there's little like first graders, and then there's the fifth graders, and they're like looking way up. And I've talked with fourth and fifth graders who say, I can't believe I used to be like that, because I remember walking around in the hall and looking up at these fifth graders and thinking, these kids are giants. And now I'm one of them. And now these kids are probably looking at me thinking I'm a giant. And so they're now aware of the passage of time. Whereas when they're younger, it's really, you have no concept of next year or 2 years from now. It doesn't make any sense. So around that age, there's something about, they have enough memories, enough experiences that they can realize, I am not the same as I was, and also I'm going to be something different than I am now. Which can also bring on some feelings of sadness, feelings of nostalgia. But it's important for them to build this memory of a narrative of their own lives. Memory is also a big part of identity and how we can think about, remember, and know who we are. But there's also an interesting part of this research, where a lot of this on children's memory has been done because it influences the court of law. Because people ask a question, in a court of law, if something happened or didn't, can we trust what children say? At what ages should we start to say, we're not even going to have this kid share a testimony because it's probably not reliable? What are children capable of remembering? And not just that, but are children susceptible to manipulation? And the answer is yes. Because you can, in a sense, create a story. You can repeat that story, and the kids may not remember it, but the more you repeat it, the more they actually might say, yeah, this did happen, and I remember it. And they have details of it because they've been told this story. There are ways people can ask questions that can lead them into answering a certain way. So there's no like straight answer of what can children remember, but it's shown that they are susceptible. So as much as we can help them build memories with our stories, those can also craft false stories. This makes me think of one of my favorite science fiction stories. In the not-so-distant future, where there are these robots that are created, and they look exactly like humans. You can't tell the difference. But they do have a shortened lifespan. And essentially, as this story is going along, it's a cool invention, but then soon corporations and humanity uses them as slaves to say, these are robots, they'll do whatever we want humans to do this, but that's inhumane, so we'll make robots do it. But they also develop a sense of consciousness and awareness of, you're mistreating me, and they have feelings. So in this, one of the corporations that creates robots is telling the story, and he says, I started giving them memories, because when I give them memories, they're easier to control. So it's sort of like waking up You're in adult form. You're just born as this robot, but you now have memories of childhood that tell you a story of who you are, that you believe. And then when this person here wants you to do something, you're more likely to obey them because the memory tells you who you are, therefore you will obey. So when they control the memories that they give, then the robots will not rebel against them. And there's this scene where some robots that are rebellion, there's a human who his job is to go and kill these robots, to take them out because they're coming back against humanity. And there's a part where he faces this robot who doesn't know that she's a robot because she says, I remember my mom, I remember doing this, I know that I'm a human. And he tells her some of her memories. You remember at age 8, this and this and this, and at age 10, this and this and this. And you see this devastation coming over her when she realizes he knows my memories. These aren't real. I've been programmed to believe this. And the devastation of I'm not a human when I thought that I was. All this way I've been acting, I've just been being used. And then this human also sees that response in her, and he realizes, oh my gosh, she's actually having real feelings. She is experiencing everything that a human would experience. What have I done, and what am I doing here? These are real people. And as the story progresses, there's one particular memory that's given to a lot of these robots that's used to control them, but it ends up it changes the story. It ends up being the undoing of controlling the robots. And the reason is because of the feeling that it evokes in them. So a false memory, but there's some feeling about it that there's some truth, that they know there's some truth in it, that gives them a sense of empowerment to say, even though I've been manipulated, I don't have to behave this way. I don't have to, because there is some truth within that memory. Do you have any stories that maybe you've been told about you, about humanity, about your identities, about where we are, who we are, that later you find out, I've been lied to? Perhaps not dramatic as being a robot and realizing you're not human, but that hit me very powerfully because when you believe in something very sincerely and you act on that and you support things because of that, only to learn that it's not actually real and not actually true, it feels like betrayal and it feels shameful. Why was I so stupid? I feel like an idiot. I've said things or I've done things that have hurt people because I thought this was whatever, but it's not. Now, again, the way children learn memories better is with story, with images. We have all sorts of stories with images. If I pick open here and name a story, I bet you can picture something from it. We have it everywhere. Now, in the church that I grew up in, similarly, lots of stories about me, stories about humanity, stories about God, stories about what God has given us and our relationship with God. And going through what maybe 10 years ago, a lot of people in that church, they were talking about a crisis of faith. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but they're like, I'm having a crisis of faith, and my friend's having a crisis of faith, and I was like, why are we talking about a crisis of faith? Only to realize that I was about to have one of those. And that is when you start to learn that a lot of the stories maybe aren't the way that you were told that they were, that some of the things you believe in didn't actually happen. Now, when I look at young people today, they have a word for this. It's like all the young people use it. It's deconstruction, right? And I'm like, oh, I know this word, but I use it all the time. It's like a word I didn't learn till much later, but they're talking about it all the time. Deconstruction, which is this idea of questioning, taking apart these belief systems, be they religious or political or cultural, and deconstructing them. And what often happens is you come into a place of nothingness. Now, another idea from psychology, not so much tied to memory here, but really meaningful and makes me think a lot. There are called these stages of development, psychosocial stages of development. So theorists have, and this is quite a few years ago, but we still use these, we still teach these, kind of like decades. So when you're a little kid, these are the questions you're asking, you're trying to figure out just how to be in your body and things like that, how to deal with authority when you're told what to do. During adolescence, you ask, who am I? How am I going to form meaningful relationships? You get older, what is my purpose in life? How am I going to contribute? How am I going to make my living? And it keeps going. And it isn't till the older years when people start to ask these questions of like, what am I going to really contribute to society? What am I really going to give to the next generation? What am I going to leave behind that I hope will last longer than I do to truly find something that's meaningful? And as the theories describe, a lot of this happens later in life because when you're younger, you're so busy with yourself, you're self-absorbed, you're thinking, you're trying to make your money, you attach your identity to these things. And as you get older, you realize, I'm not going to be here forever. So we ask different questions. One of my own reflections in a really cool paper that I'll never write on psychology is that I think that these stages are actually happening younger and younger. Those questions that they'd say, oh, usually in your late 50s or 60s or something, people will ask these questions about, like, really, how can I participate in something meaningful that's building up community? I see very young people asking these very same questions because I think the power of this deconstruction, of seeing false narratives at a younger age, not having to believe in them and go through this whole stage, and sort of taking it apart much earlier, arriving at these much deeper questions, and then having a much longer life to live ahead of you, but still really struggling with this question of how can I contribute something greater? What do we want to build together? So also with deconstruction, something I found myself at after years of sort of asking questions and reading things that other people write, these are all my questions, and I've got all these questions and questions and questions and questions. I thought, is anyone going to try to answer these questions? Because what I would see is when in a religious organization, somebody starts asking questions, you have people over here saying, shut up. Don't you remember when you were younger and felt this? Don't you remember that really good experience you had and this story we gave you about it? Don't you remember? Don't you remember? And all that purpose is to say, please stop questioning. And then I also saw another group that their only answer is burn it all down. It's all garbage, it's all lies, and I'm angry. And maybe we also go through that for a time. But that's no place to live in that anger of, I hate it all, it's all garbage, it's meaningless. So deconstruction is a step, and I think it's important. But then what are we going to build? Otherwise, we have nothing. And I see intergenerationally great potential for taking the vision that a lot of young people have, a vision with really no experience, with maybe not quite enough knowledge or enough skills to create that vision, but to see that vision and then to see, looking at the older generation, people who are asking the very same questions, who have that knowledge, who have the experience, who have the skills to say, hey, yeah, actually, we can do this together. Maybe we'll check some of the naivety of the younger people a little bit, but not fight with them and tell them that they're stupid and idealistic, but to say, what are we going to build together? And so this is a question that I'm asking myself is, what really do I want to build, and how do I want to build it, and where and with whom can we build these things? And recently, I had this voice, this sort of whisperings of spirit, of whatever, come to me, and I went back to kind of re-engage with some of the things when I was younger, And so the church that I was in has like short movies, videos to kind of talk about history and really like faith promoting things like here's this story and we're going to show it and it's beautiful and you're going to feel good and that tells you that everything we're going to tell you is true. So I went and I thought, I want to kind of rewatch that because I don't really, 5 years ago I'd be like, no way, nope, not touching it, don't want to engage with it at all, make me angry, make me hurting, whatever. But I watched it, and I was surprised that I just thought, oh, well, that was interesting. I wasn't angry. I wasn't like, oh, man, they tricked me with that. But what I saw quite clearly was that, wow, this is a pretty well-crafted story, right? They have a decent budget to make a good movie. That helps when you're trying to make a story. And there was good acting, and the way you tell a story, it's not just chronological, this happened, this happened. You bounce back and forth, you appeal to people's emotions. I thought that was actually a really good story. I don't think that actually happened that way, based on knowing many other things, but I thought, that also helped me release some of my own shame of saying, why would I believe in something that's so dumb? How could I? I thought it was just a good story. I was younger. I was a sucker for a good story. And that filled something that was important to me. And I also saw, when I watched it, I saw, I can hear certain truths being spoken to me. Maybe not in this story, maybe not taking it in that direction, but I could feel that, hey, you know what? There is something there. And Karen, your song, I already forgot the words. I was like, I'm going to try to remember the words. But you're singing is like something in my heart, and it just this sort of memory of, I feel like I know this, right? And these words came back to my mind recently, and it was, remember the Lord thy God. And I was like, no, I'm not going to. And what I thought first, kind of bringing this together now with the idea of deconstruction and questioning, was first, and maybe this is what I've been doing for a while, is forget. Forget all the names that you've tried to name God, Spirit. Forget it. Forget the concepts that you've tried to use to describe God. Forget the allegories. Forget all of that. Forget these things. Forget them. And forget even trying to do that again, because you've tried a lot of times and it hasn't worked. Forget trying to nail it all down, describe it, understand it, but still remember. And remember, what was it that I felt? What was it that I connected to in that story or in that story? Or from this and that. That is what I want to not capture, not describe, but to experience. So, I'd like to leave with the idea that understanding memory is a very powerful and beautiful thing. It's worthwhile as well to question those memories, to say, did it happen exactly? Am I holding on to a certain thing that's in my memory just because it felt good or because it felt bad or because it felt this way or that? And I'm keeping some truth sort of locked into this box because I remember that. To be able to question it but not forget it altogether. To find that essence of what it is that we've experienced and to move forward to try to build something better in our own lives, in our communities, and as a community together. A saying I often like to repeat is that who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. So if somebody can control your story of the past, of who you are, of everything, all of that, control that, then that's going to tell you exactly what to do next. It tells you how to behave. It's going to take you into a pretty predictable future. Who controls the past controls the future. Now we may think, well, I got to go into the past and trace through everything and figure it all out. But who controls the present controls the past. So the answer is right here, right now. To look back, to remember, but not live there. To look forward, to anticipate, to think about, to dream, but not live there, but to live right here in the present. So, that's my message for you. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Nathan. What a great message. When Nathan said he was going to do a message on remembering, I started looking up remember songs, memory songs, that sort of thing. And I came up with an old song by Amy Grant called I Will Remember You. And then when I was, practicing it this week, that reminded me of somebody I really remember fondly. I was in a band 100 years ago, and she was our drummer. And we spent every day together for 3 years. I saw her every single day for 3 years. And she was such a huge influence in my life because I was in a terrible marriage, and she just allowed me to live, feel like I was okay, And then the band broke up, and everybody moved away, and I kept in touch with her for a few years, and then I lost her. I don't know whatever happened to her. So I'm thinking about the stories I tell myself and the questions I still have, whatever happened to her and how much I miss her. Maybe you have somebody like that in your life, and they'll come up as we do this song. I will be walking one day down a street far away and see a face in the crowd and smile, knowing how you made me laugh, hearing sweet echoes of you from the past. I will remember you. Look in my eyes while you're near. Tell me what's happening here. See that I don't want to say goodbye. Our love is frozen in time. I'll be your champion and you will be mine. I will remember. I will remember you. Later on, when this fire is an ember, later on, when the night's not so tender, see, I know, though it's hard to remember, darling, I will be holding, I'll still be holding to you. I will remember you. So many years come and gone, and yet the memory is strong. will be my champion and you will be mine. I will remember you. So please remember, I will remember you. I will remember
Little did you know what you were stepping into when you came in these doors today. Thank you, Nathan. I am thinking of our complicated history of this nation and applying some of that distillation that you offered. So thank you. And thank you, both of you, for just strumming the heartstrings. All right. So one way we get to come back to the essence is coming back to our vision and mission. So, sure, we're all humans, but we're all divine. So let's give ourselves a little bit of a path to follow. So would you join me in our vision and mission, which is on the screen, saying those together. Our vision, we envision the divine light awakening in all. Our mission, we center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We celebrate our journey toward wholeness, and we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. Yes. Wait. There's more. There's more. You got to be fast up here. Jeez. All right. So it is also when we get to offer and help this community thrive, which is comprised of you. If you're here for the first time, thank you for visiting, and you can take a step back and see how this is all unfolding. But if you are committed and dedicated to this community, we have various ways in the seat backs, up here, online, all of that. And the ones that I really want to highlight is if you are doing some kind of digital giving, we have this blue card as a physical representation, and then likewise, if you're a conscious sustainer, the green one. And you can figure out the rest, I assure you. So that's all there. And what's really important in all of this is how you are giving that. So if you would hold that representation, whatever that is, and feel your essence and how that is enlivened by being part of this community. So you're giving much more than whatever the physical or currency aspect of it, but it really is a currency of love. And would you join me in our blessing, which is on the top of that screen? Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And now,
the power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth.
have our wonderful prayer partner anchoring us and anchoring these gifts, would you raise your hands and aim at these bowls? Because this is your love moving through this community, out through the world and back in. So feel your essence combined with everyone in this room and those on the live stream and everybody that comprises this powerful, bright, heart-centered community, unity, center of peace. And envisioning this moving through the entire global economy, brightening everything in its path, and flowing back to the givers in the forms that they need and want for them to sustain and thrive. And so it is. Mm-hmm. And also with that, Lorraine is taking our prayer requests, which will be out in the foyer. So if you would like to avail yourself putting one in, you can do that. And just as an anecdote of how that works, Reverend Pat Webster had surgery this week, and she came through in flying colors, is recovering nicely. So she certainly availed herself of that. So just something to think about when you're thinking about prayer requests. All right. So if you're here for the first time, hopefully you got a card like this. But if you did not, if you would raise your hand and someone will bring that to you. And also, if you're here returning for the second or third time, thank you so much. We have a little extra for you. So if you would raise your hand if you're one of those people, then we'll give you one of those. So thank you. Mm-hmm. It's coming. It's coming. It's behind you. All right. Okay. So as you can see, we have some wonderful flowers that were presented by David Glass. So rather than I speak those words, they are going to come from the source. Coming soon. Yes, come to the mic. All right, the foundation. All right. We'll get you.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we remember, as June draws to a fruitful close, we look back over a quarter year to March, where two seed planters strolled into our hearts with an unlikely proposition. Let these seeds of faith grow up as nurtured by our constant care, watered with our converging wills, and flowering through our united love in service to us all. That flower turned as it grew ever towards the lights of inspiration, hope, and trust, until we see its blossoms now as truly unity blooms. Once that impossible dream was dreamt, we ran where brave men never go. Starting from those sacred seeds, we reached that distant star. Now that the unreachable star is reached, the distant goal attained, we all look back with love and awe to the faith of the seed sowers. We've seen a mighty mountain moved by these adventurous seed sowers. And gathering up these beauty blossoms, what other blooms have you found? What lessons from these seeds of faith will blossom in your heart? Why not open the card inscribed just to you, and read it for yourself, by yourself, privately, silently, observantly. Thank you, Laura and Joe.
And thank you, David, for recognizing that. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to you both.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright, yeah. It's gonna be alright. I'm saying, oh, it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright.
Thank you, Roshana and Karen. Yes. I almost don't want to disrupt this, but I have announcements. I'm sorry. But it is the beginning of July, and what do we do at the beginning of the month? Birthdays. Do we, anybody July birthdays in the room?
Yes, we
Yeah,
have
we've got-
birthdays. Oh my goodness, all over the place. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. We're so glad you're alive. You're a gift from the earth. Bless the day of your birth. Bless the day of your birth. Happy birthday to you. We're so glad you're alive. You're a gift to the earth. Bless the day of your birth. Bless the day of your birth.
Yes. And to help round that out, I think we have some birthday cake. So come in for Sacred Cafe afterwards. If you've had a birthday on the live stream, I'm sorry, we can't deliver the cake through the camera yet. That might be coming in a few years, but I wouldn't try it today. All right. So moving on, we do actually have movement of summer qigong, which is Jessica Starr is facilitating right in the space. Wednesdays 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. If I can get it out of my mouth, you can show up. So there you go. And that's happening, and it will happen this Wednesday. We're coordinating things happening, driveway and whatnot this week. So there was some shuffling around, but it will happen this Wednesday as well as other Wednesdays through August 5th. All right. Moving on to calling all artists. We have a sun. We have a community art project, and you can sign up for a ray. So if you would like to have, and you do not have to be a licensed artist. I don't know if there is such a thing as a licensed artist. It seems kind of contradictory to the term artist, but anyways, you don't have to be professionally an artist or anything, but if you have a creative streak of some sort, claim a ray from that sun, and the sign up is out on the bulletin board in the foyer so that we can beautify this, and this will be, I think, literally on the other side of that mirror outside. So you can do paint, you can do something 3D, you can applique, all kinds of things. Your creativity is the limit. All right. Also, we love to support each other, and we have this very wonderful team. We've got your back. And Tim Walker is going to be our point person. Thank you, Tim. If something comes up, you can always do the We Got Your Back or WGYB at unitychapelhill.org to get that rolling. So thank you again, Tim, for stewarding that this month. Also, coming up next week, we have our community meeting and potluck right here after the service. So if you want to know what's been going on, if you want to know deeper into what the Blooms have brought, you can come show up for that. So, yes, would you RSVP? So that's the QR code. It's also in the e-news. It's also on the website, because that just helps us make sure we've got everything covered. All right. And I will try not to ring anymore. So, who is a kid at heart? If you've come into this room, you're a kid at heart. It's just like, this would not appeal to you otherwise. So while this is the youth and family ministry running this, there will be actual kids there. This is a movie for all of those of you, kid at heart. And it is a wonderful movie that doesn't actually have words, but it is quite an adventure. So obviously there's going to be music and sounds and everything else running through it. So join all the kids. If those of you are feeling a little grumpy about not feeling kid-like, if you hang around kids, it has been shown that it helps. So if you need an extra incentive, there you go. Okay, moving on to our pick-a-parties. They're back. And so we've got things lined up, but you can host one. The next one is there's going to be a movie night August 7th with Roshana, which is a different movie than The Flow. The Flow was this month. So this is coming up, The Story of Everything. So check out our website, or if you have an idea that you want to bring people together with the pick-a-party, let the office know. All right. So you heard me talk about Sacred Cafe a little bit, because that's where the birthday cake is. It's going to be happening outside, so avail yourself of that. Have some fun, coffee, treats, talking, conversations, all that good stuff. It'll happen out there. But we like to dovetail it with the deeper dive, which we have at 12:30, so you can get geared up, and then you can go to the last room on the right and dive into whatever may have been unearthed from what has transpired here, find out in community, and thank you, Frank Benzoni, for facilitating that. So if you hear a little bell or something at 12:28-ish or something like that, that's the call that, hey, we're gathering in the back. So there is that. And then finally, as always, we offer our 3-minute miracle. Thank you, Lorraine Lewis, for anchoring that today as the head of our prayer team, wonderful prayer team. If there is something that is in head or heart that is not where you'd like it to be, this is a way to open yourself up to have someone else with consciousness and have that shift in perspective in perhaps 3 minutes. So there you go. That's how we get there. And if you're live streaming, you can always send an email to prayer@unitychapelhill.org. Please put your phone number in there, because otherwise it's really hard to call you so that we can pray with you. Just the logistics. We may be good, but we are not that good yet. And I think we're good at leaving it that way. All right. I do believe we have some children. So, yes.
I am the ready life of God, I am, I am the ready life of God, I am, the health of God, the strength of God, the God, the energy, fame of God, I am the ready life of God, I am, I am, I am.
Woo! Good afternoon, y'all. Howdy, howdy. Yeah, big thanks to Kai for being here. Big thanks to the two powerful James and Ava's son. Always great to have them. Today okay, cool. We started working on the power of understanding this month and kind of this idea of a spiral, so that we're spiraling from external to internal, getting to understand ourselves, and then going from the internal to the external to understand others. And it's the same path in is the same path out. So that's that. So we started doing a collage, and I realized the power of their understanding, because this lesson was like kind of unformed in my brain, but then they kind of understood it, and we build that understanding as we go. So just recognizing the power of their understanding now. The other thing is word of mouth. I went around and started putting up posters, and I realized there's a lot of events out there. There's a lot of posters out there, and the best thing we can do to bring people into this community, and through particularly through this attempt, is the word of mouth, right? Your word, voice matters. So, if you want visuals, you can, do this on the corner, or just hand it out and talk to people. I've got posters. Stop by. Let me know what you need. We're going to continue with our power of understanding and collaging our lives onto a spiral. And here we go.
Let's bless these children, the children of the world, and the children inside of us. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. And we behold the Christ in you. All right. If you would find where you want to be in the sanctuary, and those of you that are able, would you please stand up, join hands, and join us in our prayer of protection with I am statements. All right. Together, we're figuring this out. All right. Connection is happening. All right. Feel held in whatever way you need. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Hi, it's Reverend Victoria here. I'm at Unity Center of Peace with our house band, Bright Matter. Hello. Yeah, and if this video has inspired you or empowered you or opened your heart, opened your consciousness, or even just given you hope, we ask that you support what we're doing here by making a donation today, going to unitychapelhill.org or clicking the link below, and we thank you.